All right, ScribbleTalks, Ep.3, here with Taylor Watson. Taylor is based in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's a photographer out there. I followed him based off his cinematic photography and imagery. So, Taylor, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? Thank you so much for bringing me on here. Like you said, I'm from Las Vegas. I was born and raised out here. I've always kind of been a creative individual, I would say, but just the last couple years, I really got heavily into photography, and it's been one of my biggest passions that I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. What I'd have to say about that.
Okay. It's funny because when we talked previously, I meant to ask you if you were actually born in Vegas. I didn't know that. So,
Yeah, it's very interesting growing up out here. It's cool. It's just it's a little bit different when you're a kid, and then it's like a 21 and over town. So
right.
I feel like I had an influence from the drinking and the drugs and all that when I was growing up, and I tried to stay away from as much as I could. But it's just a party town, so that's just kind of how it went growing up. But it's cool. It's cool though. I think I turned out okay. So
Yeah, good deal, man. Now I did have a question about that. So, since you grew up, born and raised there, do you ever see yourself leaving the city?
it's funny you say that. So I was going to actually move to LA in February of 2020.
Oh,
Um,
or
but
code?
some Yeah, but actually something like I went out there. I was going to go to film school originally. And I went out there, I went to the school and checked it all out, and it was amazing. I loved it. It was and then I found an apartment, and I was going to move into it, and I had the lease papers ready and all that. And then I was driving back home, and like something was like, I was like, I don't know, dude, I don't feel right. Like, I don't know. Like, I want to do it so bad. And I almost went against it. I was like, oh no, just do it. But I was like, I'm gonna hold off for like a month and then maybe go to like the next scheduled like school session. And
Okay.
I told like my counselor that. She's like, okay, I get it. And then all of a sudden, like, actually, and then I got a camera because I was like, I'm gonna stay out here, and maybe like try it out. And I'm not 100% on school yet, so at least I'll have a camera ready for when I go to school.
Right.
And then COVID happened. And then I kind of just started shooting the strip empty, downtown empty. And then I decided, I was like, well, with COVID, I'm just going to stay here and see what I can do with photography here. And yeah, that's pretty much how it started, I guess you could say.
Wow. So you never looked back into school at all? Like, did they cancel that semester, that session, or what happened?
I just told him like, I'm probably just not going to come at this time. And then she's like, okay, well, let me know. I can get you enrolled in the next the next semester. And I was like, no, I think I'm good for right now. With COVID, she's like, all right, well,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I just told her, I was like, yeah, no, right now, I think I'm just going to try to live out here, which I, for some reason, did not like living out here at that time, back in, right before the COVID situation happened. I didn't want to live out here. I was like, I want to leave. I want to leave. I need to go somewhere else. Like, I don't like Las Vegas.
Right.
And then I guess it took the whole COVID thing and then like the photography. I don't know what happened from that, but now I love it. Like now I love this place. I don't want to leave. I don't know if, I don't know, maybe New York would be the only place that I want to live, but it's just so expensive. It's so busy and so tight. Like living spaces, I've seen them like all over social media. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, it is tight, man. I've been up there. So
Yeah.
and that's a lot to unpack. I have a few more questions about that, especially to where, because I know like where your career has gone since you decided to stay in Las Vegas. But one of my questions was, when did you actually start doing photography? Was it
So
or
actually I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no? Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good.
okay. So pretty much February of 2020 when I got my camera, um, I was very influenced. I noticed that I was very influenced by like filmmaking as far as when I'd be watching different TV shows and films, I'd see like the composition that they would use or the colors that they would use, the lighting, and I always kind of like gravitated towards it. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool shot. I always caught myself saying that, but I never was into photography or into being like a big artist. Yeah, I would say that I got kind of influenced by that. And then I decided like, yeah, maybe I should try like filmmaking and like photography. And I've been trying to get more into filmmaking. It's just like a whole nother world to, try to like tackle. So I wanted to start with photography first, but I'm slowly leaning more into filmmaking now.
It's
But yeah, to answer your question, February 2020 is when I started.
because you basically just started this whole thing, but
Yeah,
you definitely found like your niche. And I mean, I love the stuff that you've been posting ever since
thank you.
you shared one of your images. I was like, oh yeah, let me follow this dude. I like this stuff. I like this style.
Thank you.
It's just crazy knowing that, okay, February 2020 was just the beginning for you to where you're at right now. And I know
Yes.
you were influenced by some of the films and things like that you watched. And one of my other questions is there any artist or somebody in particular that inspired you or pushed you creatively that you can speak on?
At the moment, I would say that there's a few people that I really look up to at the moment. But yeah, when I started, there wasn't anybody that I looked up to, or the one film or TV show that I really like paid attention to was Breaking Bad.
Uh,
I think, yeah, the cinematographer, his name is Michael Slovis. I think that's his name. I just noticed the way he would set shots up and like how he did everything in that show. I was like, this guy is such like a talented person.
yeah,
So I think that was one of the things that pushed me to be like, maybe I should just try it out. Like at least try taking photos first, and then if I'm not good at it, whatever. But I think this is something that I've always noticed is cinematography. So,
right.
but then as far as photographers now that I look up to, there's a photographer named Billy Din. He's a really big street photographer, shoots like the kind of cinematic style that I have. And
Okay.
then there's another person. Her name's Paula. I forgot her last name exactly, but I know her Instagram handle. It's Menaris. Me and all my friends, we just call her Menaris. But she's Adobe ambassador, super talented cinematic photographer. Those two people are probably when I think of like incredible artists or photographers, that's the two people that pop up to me first.
Got it. Now, are those two are they based in the US?
No, yeah, they're based in the U.S. Yeah, they live in New York. I want to say they live in New York. So they're just and the stuff that they capture out there is just so beautiful, and it's just and I know New York is just kind of it's a whole another world.
Oh,
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah, so the stuff that they capture, it's like very influential to me and my friends. We want to go out there and we're like, we want to go and take those type of photos. Like we want to go
Yeah.
and see that stuff because Vegas kind of has that aspect. It's like crazy, but it's a different world compared to New York. So that's kind of my next trip. I would say is New York when I can.
Right.
Yeah, just to capture the cool stuff out there because I know like it's just gonna be like a kid in Disneyland when I go out
Oh,
there.
yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I love it, man. Well, we'll finish this call. You definitely have to send me their IG handles so I can check it
I
out.
will. I will.
Um, so based off that, again, you mentioned picking up a camera February 2020. Can we talk a little bit about where you are now? I know, I think before you said you were working, like doing some construction, doing some side jobs, and then you recently got into a position where you're able to utilize like your photography skills and media skills. So can you talk about that jump and how that opportunity kind of came about?
Yeah, so I guess I could start with the story of how it's my pretty much my best friend Mike right now. He got me the job, but right now I'm a social media associate for Caesars Entertainment, and I run like a hotel out here. I run the social media for it. I create video for it. I have to write copy. They call it copywriting, and then the images I have to pick out certain images, take my own images. But pretty much how that started was during quarantine. I I was following him from a previous account's post that I saw, like, oh, this guy's work's cool. I'm gonna follow me back. And then he put on his story one day, does anyone want to go ride bikes on the strip? Because it's empty during quarantine. There's just
Right.
nothing to really do. Everyone's just sitting home. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to this guy. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'll meet you down there. I'll rent a bike. You know, there's areas where you can rent bikes out here. And then he rode his bike down to the strip. I met him. We rode all the way to downtown and back. My car got towed because everyone was parking there. So they started towing everyone's cars because they were getting sick of it. So he's like, well, I don't know. We can't really get an Uber with my bike. I guess we could try. But I was like, you know what? He's like, my house isn't too far, so let's walk. We walked all the way to his house, and we kind of just talked the whole time. And we got to know one another. And he turned out to be one of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life. Just from that walk, I knew right away. I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Like, I want this guy in my life forever. Like, I just knew. I was like, he's walking with me. He could have just left me there, you know?
Right.
Yeah, we walked to his house, and he's like, I'm going to give you a ride. And I was like, no. I was like, no, dude, don't worry about it. Like, I'll figure it out. He's like, no. Like, I'm going to give you a ride. Don't worry about it. And then he's like, also, here's $100 because I feel bad. And I was like, no, I'm not going to take that. There's no way I could take that. And he made me take the money. I was like, all right, fine, whatever, dude. Like, I'll take it. And then he helped me pay for that. And then, like, pretty much what I was bringing that up too is when he got me this job, my first check, I took $100 out and gave it back to him. And I said, thank you so much and I gave it to him the other night, and I was like, dude, thank you. Like, you're one of the greatest people I've ever met. And just, yeah, he's always looked out for me, and it always has brought me on random shoots and just helped me build my portfolio. Like, I'd go and do free shoots with him all the time just to, like, take photos, just be on the side.
Right.
And then, yeah, a position opened up, and he was like, dude, you should try for it. And he's like, I'm going to try my hardest to get you in there. And then I already knew some of the team. I met, like, his boss, and she like instantly loved me. And was like, oh yeah, I love your portfolio. Like, I like your personality. Like, let's do this. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at now. It's an amazing job. It's a lot, but I'm just starting, and it's an amazing experience so far. So it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, man, it's an incredible story. You know, because I know you said you were already kind of working, and you would just take the time to go do these free shoots and just like participate, even though you didn't know what was going to come of it. It's like the job wasn't guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you were being paid for this. Like, hey, I love to do this. I'm passionate about it. And look what it turned into. And it's just like, kind of like a testament to just keep going, to keep following your dreams and what you want to do, because at some point or another, it's going to pay off.
And I think that's one piece of advice I would give anybody. If you really want to be a photographer, just know that you're probably getting, like, not everyone gets lucky, or not everyone gets lucky, but I would say that to build like, some people get lucky, but not everyone does. But I would say to build your portfolio as much as you can. And sometimes that takes doing those free shoots.
Right.
And going out and, like, just shooting your friends, or just taking photos of random stuff, and just trying to, because that's what, like, anybody that's looking for a photographer, they're going to want to see, like, oh, let me see your work. If you have, like, a couple images, you know, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's good. But then they're probably going to pick someone else that has, like, this solid big portfolio of all these, and some of that could have been free, you know, all those could have been free. But I would say that it's just something that you got to work towards and be very passionate about, and just know that sometimes you're gonna have to do it for free. But if you love it enough, it's not gonna matter. So
right, it's not going to be work, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just have to make the time to do it. And with the whole portfolio thing, I think this question may help some, you know, up and coming creators, or anybody who, you know, will watch this, or in the future. But again, as far as the portfolio, would you just rely simply on Instagram, or do you have a website? Like, what would you recommend that people do?
So I would say, so what I did, so for, like, when I got this job now, like, what I did was I created it's called a Dropbox link, or Dropbox or OneDrive. Like, you can just do it on there. And I separated each thing. So I had everything, like, you know, portraits, I had food, I had, you know, concerts, I had everything listed in a way that they could easily just go through. You could do a website too. That's actually probably better. It looks more professional too. I just don't have, like, a lot of people reaching out as far as for portrait shoots right now. You know, I kind of just love, like, the whole candid street photography, and kind of the the cityscapes. I love that type of stuff. So, you know, I'm not really like super about going to do like portrait shoots, but I will, you know, if someone reaches out, I will.
Right.
I would say as far as if you know if you know your style already, you know, you feel like you're pretty good with photography. I would say having a website is probably the best thing you could do. Is well, if you were sharing it for like a company trying to get a job, that's probably something that they would want is a website, and that way they can go through and it's all laid out correctly and just organized, and it looks very clean when you have like a website. They're like, oh, okay, it kind of seems
Right.
professional, like you've been doing it a while.
Right.
So I would say something like that would be good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, all great answers, man. I know you kind of mentioned, you would always tell people to be passionate about what they're doing, be available for the free projects or stuff like that. Just doing things for free if you love to do it, not hesitating. Is there anything else that you would say to anybody, like anybody not an artist, just based off your experiences professionally in the world of photography and then also personally? Like, what's one piece of advice that you give someone?
I would say don't care what people think. And don't worry about likes. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Like when you're first starting, like you just can't, because if you post your first photo and it gets like 20 likes, like I feel some people are like, dude, my first photo I think got like 30 likes, you know, like that I ever posted. And I kind of was like a little bummed, but I wasn't, because I was like, oh, that's my first photo. Like I got to just keep going.
Right.
So that's the thing, is like these likes and all that, it doesn't matter. That's even if someone that's been doing it a long time, like, because I see photographers that are very successful, they don't get a lot of engagement, but their work is like incredible. So when they're getting paid shoots, they're doing it for, you know, like that's their full-time job. So
Right.
don't worry about likes, because sometimes the likes don't even matter. You know, the likes or the engagement, that doesn't even matter. So try not to worry about what other people think, but still do, you know, to a certain extent, if that makes sense.
Right. I guess what you're saying is also care, but just the product that you're giving to people. Don't,
Yes.
yeah,
And I would say too, try not to please everyone. Like, because I think that was one thing I tried to do in the beginning. I was always trying to like make sure I made everyone happy. But dude, like at least one person's gonna not like your photo. Like you gotta accept that, you know. So it's like that was one thing I had to like come to terms with. Like, not every single person that follows you is gonna like that photo you post. So it's like, and the thing I would say is if you like it, it means more than anything. If you like that photo and you feel proud that you put 100% effort into it and you're so happy about that photo, post it and just don't care what, you know, the likes or anything, because that's all that matters. Is because if you're just shooting for likes and you don't like your work, but you're like, oh, but this is cool, this is cool, and this is what other people want to see, but you don't really like doing it, then what's the point? You know, it's
that,
just a fake. Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you 110%, man. Excellent, excellent answer and excellent feedback on everything. Taylor, man, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this interview. You
Dude,
know,
thank you for reaching out.
I'm excited to see, what you do in the coming years. Of course, we're going to keep in touch. I've never been to Vegas. People are always surprised by that. I've just never been. But definitely when I come out there, if you're still there, whatever, we got to link up, say what's up. But yeah, dude, just really excited, man, about what's to come for you, because there's a lot coming.
Thank you.
I just feel
Yeah.
like how everything's been unfolding. I mean, you're on your way up, dude. So just, you know, keep doing what you
Dude,
do.
thank you. And yeah, let me know next time you come out here or anything. Just yeah, let me know. I'll be here. I'll show you around, you know, show you the good spots and everything. So,
All right, awesome. Well, Taylor, man, take care. Taylor Watson, everybody.
hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you.